Trees and Turtles, I'm Imogen and today I'm 21. So in this video I'll be sharing 21 lessons I've learned in 21 years. If you're not subscribed, be sure to do that, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video. So the first lesson is to embrace being a newbie. So when you're in a new situation it can feel overwhelming, but there's something cool about a fresh start and you have the opportunity to grow from scratch. So take a new skill, you're gonna suck at it, it's fine. You embrace being a newbie. And my second tip is that it's okay to change direction. So I used to want to go into politics because I care about issues, but the more I learned about politics, the more I realised that the issues I cared about would be better served by being a conservationist. And, you know, no shade to people who study politics, I think you all are amazing. But anyway, so I am becoming conservationist. That's my second thing that I've learned. So my third thing is, just because someone has power doesn't make them right. Many people in power or authority are just bad people, and I learned this the hard way. So they're not all-knowing or all-benevolent, and while they may seem to be all-powerful for a short time, they will eventually not have this influence, and it's okay for you to disagree with them. In fact, having your own ideas and opinions is a good thing. So if you're ever wondering about that, I can affirm you with this, it's a good thing. The fourth lesson is that independence and solitude are underrated. I used to want loads of friends. Now it's very much quality over quantity. So for a start, I don't have the energy to maintain hundreds of friendships, and I prefer to put time into the ones I really care about. And solitude is also much more important than I used to think. Being able to be alone without being lonely for short periods, there is a difference. Can help productivity, reflection, and increase your sense of self. If you're lonely, that's like a bad thing because you're lacking social interaction, but if you're just alone, that's okay because, you know, it's nice to be able to spend time in your own company and to value that. So the next lesson is that being a fighter is a good thing. So one of the things that has stuck with me most from my teenage years is something that my dad told me. So if you're watching, hello, shout out. And he once said to me after I'd failed at some goal that I had, and he said to me, are you a fighter or a quitter? And that really stuck with me, because often the narrative is like, are you a winner or a loser? And that's not really helpful, because that's kind of outside of your control, and it labels people in a sort of negative way, but anybody can choose to persevere and to have determination and to have grit, and I think that's what makes you a fighter, and I think that's a good thing. So yeah, I really resonated with that. So yeah, being a fighter is a good thing. Sometimes you don't get what you planned because you get something better. And I honestly don't have a lot to say about this tip other than that, okay, maybe your plans go down the drain, but maybe you will also get something better, and don't get too depressed if not everything goes to plan. So also, you will drift away from a lot of people. That's okay, it's healthy, and it's a part of growth. So I used to panic about losing friends until I realised that it was better to put a lot of energy into a few people than a bit of energy into a lot of people. So when I started prioritising quality over quantity in friendships, and I practiced letting people go naturally, my life improved a lot, and so did the friendships I chose to put energy into. Try to figure out a theory of whatever situation you're in. So this one has helped me a lot. So it might sound a bit like weird, but bear with me. Try to figure out how the situation works and achieve what you want or need from the situation. So I'm going to bring in a little analogy here. Playing The Sims, because you sort of see life as a game, right? I played The Sims a little bit, and it helped me to see life as a game with many playable levels, and there were things I can do to level up or earn points, i.e. achieve my goals, and my life became a lot more fun. So if you think about a theory of whatever situation you're in, and that can help you a lot. You don't have to be perfect first time. It's okay to suck at stuff as long as you practice and you just start. If you're doing something new, you probably suck at it. Like most people do. I do new things, I suck at them. And, you know, you gotta suck at it a little bit first before you get better. That's natural. A lot of small things you don't consciously decide are actually decisions. So when I say, oh, I'm too tired to work out, or I'm too busy to do my skincare, what I'm actually saying is, this is not a priority, and I'm making a decision not to do it. So I would say recognise where you're making small decisions and change them intentionally if they're not piling up in the way you want them to. Working out should be to get stronger and feel better physically and mentally, and the aesthetics will follow. So I used to work out because I wanted to look a certain way, and then I realised that exercise was much better and I was able to be more consistent with it when I focused on exercising to get stronger and benefit my mental health and then the aesthetic changes that I'd wanted just followed that. So I think just working out for your mental health first is really the strategy to go for, at least I found that. Wear what you want because nobody cares, and if anybody gives you hate for it, they don't have your best interests at heart. So it took me ages to find my style. I had a very sheltered childhood where what I wore was quite narrowly delineated. So once I became an adult, I went through a period of exploration, and I just went through a bunch of different styles, and I tried to find colours and stuff that I liked, and that was quite fun. So yeah, wear what you want and be proud of it. Early mornings are a kind of magic. So I discovered this when I was 17. I spent most of my childhood and half of my teenage years being a night owl, so when I read articles online about productivity that constantly recommended getting up early, I was curious, but I was also really sceptical, so I decided I was going to try it. Naturally, I don't think I'm an early bird or a night owl. If I had to choose, I'd probably lean slightly towards night owl, but I can adapt to either with a bit of effort. And once I did put that effort in, it was a complete game changer, because suddenly I had so much more productive time that I wasn't wasting a bunch of it in unproductive hours at night. I gained hours of peace and quiet in the mornings to work on my goals, and I felt way more in control of my life, and it really helped my productivity and positivity massively. Now honestly, if you're a night owl like 100%, then I get that, and this tip doesn't apply to you, but it really, really helped me, so I thought I would include it. This next tip is really, really personal, and music can save your life. So if you know me, you will know that half my personality is my favourite band, Oh Wonder, and this is the poster I have from their third album. And I discovered Oh Wonder when I was 17, and I've had a bunch of mental health ups and downs since I was 17, throughout my teens really. But the first video I discovered from Oh Wonder was their song from the 2017 album Ultralife, which is also called Ultralife, the same name, sort of the title song from the album. And it was just really sort of colourful, joyful music video, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. So I started following the band, and yeah, honestly, their music is pretty much the reason that I'm still here. So I got to meet them this year, and I told them that, and it was great. It was very emotional, but yes, I discovered the hard way that music can save your life, but you know, I wouldn't have it any other way, because I do absolutely feel so grateful about that. Anyway, I'm gonna move on before I start to cry. Journaling is the best hobby I've ever had. So I started to journal when I was, it was 2014, so I was 12, yeah. Okay, so I've been journaling 9 years, and it was honestly just me picking up a book one day and being like, I'm gonna write about my day in this, and I didn't really think about it very much, but over the years I just kept journaling, and it's been the thing that I go to. That's the other half of my personality. That's the thing that I go to when I'm stressed or I'm happy, or I just want to get whatever is in my head out onto the page. And I've just found that it helped my mental health massively. So music and journaling are just two things that I always turn to, and I recommend journaling to everybody. And you don't have to do it every day, you don't have to do it in a particular way. Whatever you do, the journal should serve you and not the other way around. So I think as long as you apply that one rule to it, it could be incredibly beneficial. Maths is fun actually, and it's okay to be a nerd. So when I was going through GCSEs, I was not good at maths. I don't really like it, and I was just sitting there and doing practice question after practice question, and one day just something randomly clicked, and I was like, oh, I really like this now. Obviously I get if you hate maths, but my wider point still applies, is that it's okay to be a nerd. Like, I'm a very proud nerd. Like, I will geek out about stuff endlessly, and, you know, especially like academic stuff. I'll go on about like integration and polynomials and whatever, and that's okay. And I think sometimes people catch hate for being nerdy or for being that kind of thing, and don't, because it's actually really cool. So that's something that I learned to embrace, and I ended up doing Maths A-level. Woo! So yeah, it was good. Maths is fun, and it's okay to be a nerd. Right, the next tip is talk to the quiet kids. Now, this is kind of linked to the last point, but having been a quiet kid at one point, and having, you know, made friends with quiet kids, I often found that some of the most interesting friendships are when you walk into a new situation, like you've joined a new school or something, and you look around the room and you see people in the groups, and then there's one kid in the corner who's sitting on their own. that is the kid you gotta go talk to, and it is honestly the same in any situation. Like, it doesn't matter if you join a new school, if you go to university, if you're in like a business meeting, not that I've been in many of those, but anyway, the point is, new social situation, talk to the quiet kids, whoever the quiet kids are, because often, they're happy to have someone talk to them. I know as the quiet kid, I was happy to have someone talk to me whenever I was the quiet kid. And sometimes they're really, really cool people. And honestly, some of my best friends I have met that way. So that is a massive life hack. If you can, talk to the quiet kids. Right, so the next tip is... oh, this is an interesting one. Celebrities and fictional characters you identify with can be very beneficial. Like, people get obsessed with celebrities, and people get obsessed with fictional characters. And as long as it doesn't become, like, unhealthy levels of obsession, it can actually be very beneficial, and it can serve as, like, an escape to take you out of whatever, you know, mental health struggles or life stuff you've got going on. And I found that, like, watching movies and reading really helped with my mental health as well. So, yeah. Dating can be to learn about yourself and other people, not just to find the one. So I think a lot of people have a directional view of dating, and you don't have to, like, don't put this pressure on yourself. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I'm taking a break from dating at the moment, but I dated in university last year, and I learned a lot about myself and about how to interact with people, and yeah, and I met some interesting people. So yeah, dating can be to learn about yourself and other people, not just to find the one. So yeah, I'm just saying, put less pressure on yourself. Okay, so I've got two final tips, and they are kind of linked. The first one is that your story is worth telling. So your life matters and your story matters, and I say this in the context of journaling, as people think, oh, I don't want to write about I went to the shops because that's boring. But I bet in 5 years you're not going to be going to the same shops, right? And you're going to read that back and be like, oh my gosh, that was a period in my life when I went to this store and I listened to this music and I saw these people and I wore these clothes. And that aesthetic or that environment is not something that's going to come around again. And that's actually fascinating. So I promise your story is worth telling. The final tip is something that I would tell to my younger self, and it's something that I would tell to anybody who's in the sort of awkward teenage phase. It gets better, I promise, and it is worth it. So I know you're probably all working very hard, and probably, you know, some of you and it's normal to get discouraged, to feel frustrated, to feel down, to feel like if you have depression, anxiety, any of that. But yeah, I've had a very good couple of years. Like, I've gone through a university I really wanted to go to. I've met my favourite band. I've been on some wonderful holidays, and yeah, I just like to kind of reach back in time to my younger self and to anybody else who's watching this. It gets better, I promise, and it is worth it. Okay, so those are my 21 lessons that I've learned in 21 years. If you're not already following me, make sure to do that. Subscribe to my channel and make sure your notifications are on. I'm on Instagram as well, so if you follow me on there, you'll get a bunch of other content. It should be in the description. And I will see you very soon. Okay, bye.